Jody here from Vander Farmers. Today we are going to amp up the ground beef game a little bit. If you're still eating boring tacos with beef, let's do something different. All the things that we have today should be in your pantry, and we're going to do a really yummy take on TV dinner, Salisbury steak. Guys, I'm standing here right now with 4 people that don't know what Salisbury steak is, so I find that kind of funny. So we're going to get into it. Salisbury steak, I grew up eating when my dad had to cook because it was in the freezer as a TV dinner, if you will. So it came in a little tray. It had mashed potatoes. It had Salisbury steak. It had a little brownie. So I grew up eating that, and I told myself that I would never make my kids eat Salisbury steak out of the freezer. So I taught myself how to make it myself, and we are going to do that today. I'm going to make it from scratch. Everything you need for the Salisbury steak should be in your house, in your pantry. We've got eggs, Worcestershire sauce, oregano, basil, salt and pepper, a little granulated garlic, panko, and we're going to put a little bit of mustard and ketchup in there as well. So we're going to start with F1 Wagyu from Vander Farmer, and we're going to chop up half a white onion. Sometimes when you're making Salisbury steak, people like to grate it, and it gets to be a finer cut. I kind of trust my knife skills, so we're going to do a nice small dice, and then we're going to throw that right in there. Onion gives it that little bit of freshness, breaks up the little bit of fatness in that meat. Nice fine dice. Sharp knives matter. So my dad was a great cook, but he also didn't really like to cook. He was really good at breakfast. Breakfast was his thing. So when he had to feed us and Mom worked 2 jobs, he would rely on the freezer, anything that he could pull out of the freezer. And so we ate a lot of TV dinners. I'm surprised that I grew up becoming a good cook, because that's how it all started. And then once Mom was able to stay home more, she cooked a lot, my grandparents, and we all just started to meld together as great cooks and great palates. So we're gonna go in with the onion. This is quite a big onion. I'm not gonna do all of it, so use your own judgment. I'm not a big onion fan, so I'm just gonna do a little bit. And then this is panko breadcrumbs. You can also use Italian breadcrumbs, plain breadcrumbs. You can use rice if you want, rice flour. And then we've got some oregano, some basil, garlic powder, salt and pepper, one of my favorites, Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to go in with that brown mustard, some ketchup. This is what sets it apart from meatloaf or meatballs, the ketchup and the brown mustard. And then we're going to start with 1 egg, see what kind of moisture content we get with that. Meatballs don't use ketchup and mustard, so this recipe is similar to a meatball when you create it, but the ketchup and mustard takes it to a different level. Adds a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of tartness, where a regular meatball would be a lot more savory. So we're just gonna get in here and mix this all up really well. I think I am gonna do that second egg. Being a chef is very rigorous. You have to be very organized and devoted to your craft. But the reason I like it is because I love to see people smile, and the feelings and the emotions that come behind the whole cooking and eating process. I just like to put a lot of love in it. So just love. It's a avenue to share experiences with people. The best memory I have from food, I went on a date with my husband, okay? 2 kids hadn't been out together in a while. We went to see the Nutcracker Ballet, We went to this really great restaurant and I had chicken francaise. And it's simple stuff, but it was just prepared so well in the company and the evening, and it was just really nice. Okay, so now we have this all nice and mixed pretty thoroughly. Now we're gonna form these patties. I'm gonna have to grab a plate. Hold on. So we're gonna form these into ovals. You don't have to form it into ovals, but that's how it used to come in the TV dinner, so why not, right? Form them into ovals. This would be a good, if you made a big batch of this and you wanted to try to stretch it out for 2 dinners, you could turn these into barbecue meatballs. Those would be delicious. Simmer them in your own barbecue sauce. But right now we're gonna form these patties, and then we're gonna fry them up in this really wonderful tallow that Marline makes. And then we're gonna make a gravy for it. The scariest moment when I started cooking professionally was when I was in the kitchen at a private golf club, and the chef thought it'd be cool for me to do the ordering for a big event, and gave me no support, no direction whatsoever. So I had to plan this menu and do all the ordering for the very first time. And you know, you have this fear that you're gonna not have enough food, and that's the worst. You always wanna have enough food. You have to feed the hungry. And I nailed it. It takes a lot of patience. Being a chef takes a lot of patience. It's not just about cooking, it's about managing people, developing a team, being a mentor, emotional support. There's a lot involved. It's not just whipping up good food. Okay, so now we have the tallow. I warmed it up in the microwave to get it a little bit more applicable. And if for anybody who doesn't know what tallow is, it's rendered beef fat, and it goes through a process of purifying it. It's really easy to do. It's great to use your scraps and make the tallow. It lasts for quite a while in your refrigerator, and I love cooking with this. Steaks, burgers, potatoes, fried rice, all that fun stuff. So we're gonna put this in the pan and get the pan nice and hot, and then we're gonna fry these bad boys up, and then we're gonna finish it with a gravy that I will show you how to make. So we have our tallow in our pan, cast iron all the way. And once this oil gets hot, we're gonna go right in there. You know the temperature is good enough when the tallow turns clear and it moves freely inside your pan. And then you'll start to see a little bit of sizzling around the edges. You guys ready for that sizzle?
Yes, ma'am.
There it is. So we're gonna cook these for probably about 5-6 minutes per side. Get a nice crust on them. The crust is equals flavor. It's all that fat caramelizing. And then once those are done, we're gonna take them out, and then we're gonna build the sauce in there, and then we're gonna finish the Salisbury steaks in the sauce. Sometimes your skillet doesn't get hot in all the right places, so don't be afraid to move stuff around so it picks up that crust. The tallow just adds, you know, more Wagyu flavor to it. I prefer gas stoves over electric stoves, but I wouldn't it wouldn't be a game changer. I could make it work, but definitely the flame, the even heat, all that fun stuff. So yeah, definitely a gas stove over electric. Okay guys, so now I'm gonna drain some of this fat, and then we're going to build the sauce inside of this pan. You want to use the same pan because it has the brown bits from the burger meat, and it'll just add more flavor to it. If we did it in a different pan, it wouldn't be as unctuous and delicious. So I took out some of this fat because that's not going to be a very good tasting sauce if we don't take some of that out. I did leave some of it in there, and we're going to get some flour, and we're going to make a roux, and a roux is used to thicken the sauce. So I'm going to do that right now. To this pan, and I know you're thinking it's a lot of fat, but we need fat to make the roux. So we're going to throw some butter in there. Okay. And we're going to grab our whisk. And you can see all those little brown bits coming up. And then we're going to add some flour. So guys, a roux is equal parts fat to flour, and it's used to thicken a sauce. So add our flour in there. We're going to turn this on a little bit because you want to cook it. You want to cook that flour out of there. This is grandma cooking right here. So we're going to add the French onion soup that I told you about. And we're going to keep whisking. See how that's getting all nice and thick? It's doing its job. Some nice chunks of onion in there. And voila, we're getting a gravy. We're going to put those Salisbury steaks back in here. We're going to let them cook for about 20 minutes so they're cooked all the way through. Also, cooking them in this liquid is going to add a lot more moisture, a lot more flavor, more tenderness. And while we're letting those cook, we're going to mash up some potatoes. Because who doesn't want Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes? All right, we're almost there, guys. And you can do whatever texture you want. I don't like a really thick, clumpy gravy. I like it to be a little viscous. So we're going to put those right back in there. We're going to turn that down to simmer. Just cover those up a little bit. Simple, but beautifully delicious. All right, we're gonna let those get all happy. I'm gonna go to the mashed potatoes. We're gonna add a generous amount of butter, salt and pepper. Guys, if you haven't put boursin in your mashed potatoes, you're missing out. This is game changer. It's a garlic herb cream cheese. You can use it for bruschetta, for toast, for a cheese tray, crackers. I like to bake it in the oven with a little bit of marinara. Okay guys, I'm gonna flip these over so they get nice even coating of that yummy gravy. I'm a big fan of mashing the potatoes in the skin. I just think there's vitamins in the skin. So we're gonna mash these up real good, taste them. This is very state-of-the-art masher. So I told a story about my dad growing up. I gotta tell you a story about my mom. It's only fair. There's always love and war. Love doesn't always work out. So my parents ended up divorced. My mom would eat a pan of mashed potatoes every night after that divorce. She's still alive, so she might get mad at me for that one. I'd come home from work and she'd be sitting on the couch eating mashed potatoes out of the pan. All right, guys, I'm gonna say that's good. So we're gonna take a nice scoop of our mashed potatoes, make a little well in the center. And then we're gonna take some of that gravy. Whoa, look at that.
Goodness gracious. She's a wizard.
Okay, guys, that is not a TV dinner.